Hi. Hello. Hello and welcome back to India from Pondicherry, now named Puducherry. And I am staying here in the old French Quarter known as White Town. My guest house over there is called Colonial Heritage, probably my favorite place I've stayed on this India trip. And just look at these streets with these old French buildings, bright yellow colors and beautiful blossom. In this video, it's probably going to be a fairly relaxed one. I'm just going to stroll around Pondicherry, give you a taste of the vibe. And you may not know, but Pondicherry is in fact not part of Tamil Nadu. We are in a different state in India. It's a tiny state and it only has a few segments along the coastline. I'll show a map of how it looks. And already just wandering around, I am loving all these different colored buildings. Pondicherry was under French rule until 1954, and so the legacy that was left here is absolutely everywhere, in the buildings, in the architecture, and in the restaurants, the cuisine, little patisseries. There's lots of French people. Most of the language is French too. And what I love too is this kind of faded look on a lot of the pastel colored buildings. It still feels like India to an extent, with various elements of Indian culture everywhere you look, except it's slightly different to what you find somewhere else perhaps. Notre Dame d'Angers, 1738, this Catholic church. This is beautiful. Look how colourful the windows are. So the French Quarter is just perfect for strolling around, not doing a great deal, popping into a coffee shop or two, maybe having some food, appreciating the buildings, and also walking to the coast, which I will do in a moment. Let's continue and we'll meander our way through and eventually reach the Indian Ocean. Bibliothèque Publique, still being used today, although not for a library, but Department of Art and Culture. I like how all the old buildings are still being used today, and they've kept the French signs, which is kind of cool. There is a public park just here. I may well drop in. You'll see a lot of Indian tourists here, coming from probably Chennai or other cities in Tamil Nadu for day trips and things like that. A lot of them younger Indians too, posing for pictures by the pretty streets. Without trying to sound too repetitive, a park that feels very French. While I'm here, I will tell you about my plans because they've had to adjust and change. I only have tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, and then my visa expires. I only had a 30-day visa on this trip. India used to give you 60-day visas as a tourist, but that's changed. I don't know at what point. My first trip in 2017, I had 2 whole months in India. This time, the e-visa only gives you 30 days, unless you get a longer term visa, a 5-year, a 10-year one, which you could apply for, then obviously you can stay longer. So originally my plans were to visit Aurobindo and stay there for a while. This almost experimental community with ashrams and other cool places to stay. It would have been nice, and I will go back in the future, but I want to make that Chennai video, and I have to go back to Chennai anyway to catch my flight. So tomorrow I'm going to take the bus back to Chennai, here from Pondicherry, and then the following day I will film my Chennai video, which I didn't because I wasn't well. Remember, I went to the hospital if you saw the end of the bus video that I made. And then that same evening, the day after tomorrow, I need to make my way to the airport, well, at the night time really. My flight is at 1 AM. I won't say where I'm going. I'll keep it a secret there. It is Asia, I'll give you that. I don't know if you can tell, but I am just sweating a lot here. It is not just the sun, it is also very humid. We're in a different weather system, in fact, on this east coast. Different to when I was in Hampi and Karnataka. In fact, you get quite a bit of rain here in March at this time of year. Every other day, it seems to be raining a little bit in the evening, which is more like a kind of Southeast Asia climate than central southern India. And that's because I didn't see any rain in the first half of my trip until I made my way here to the East Coast. So whenever you see these more subdued colors on the buildings, often gray, particularly in this area, which is slightly north of the park that I was just in, it's usually because it's an ashram, and there is quite a large ashram organization here dedicated to Sri Aurobindo and the mother, who are very well respected. And just here is where you can enter. I've been inside, and what you can do is, firstly, you take off your shoes, and then you can visit their tomb. I'm not sure if they're together in the tomb or if it's just Sri Aurobindo. And then there is like an area where you can meditate outside. You have to turn off your phone, it's complete silence, and it's kind of an interesting experience. It's worth going in there. They also have a small bookshop. You can learn a little bit more about what they teach, which is yoga and spirituality. I'm not an expert on Sri Aurobindo though, so I won't say much more than that. You can do your own research on him, and maybe if you know more than I do, write in the comments below and share with me as well, because I'd be interested to know a bit more. Okay, so let's get out of these streets now and head to the waterfront and catch some of the breeze. Here we are on the Indian Ocean, or would you prefer me to call it the Bay of Bengal? I guess it's the same thing. Swimming prohibited because there is a strong riptide here, as well as in Chennai. I can see why swimming is also prohibited, because it's not very safe. I mean, look at all those rocks right there. It's a black and rocky beach. Although there are some patches of sand I can see without rocks. It'd probably be a nightmare for the lifeguard to keep track of all the people if anybody attempted swimming. It's so easy to have an accident here. Mahatma Gandhi, father of India. The promenade here is impressive, it's clean, and it's also wide. It's a really nice place to go for a walk during the sunset hour, which is obviously setting on the other side of the country in the west. In the morning, I guess the sunrise would be right here, so also it would probably be pleasant to come here very early. I think I'm gonna grab a drink from a cafe on the waterfront here, and then I will take you to a different part of town. I will show you the more Indian side of Pondicherry, Puducherry it's now called, and especially a very interesting, colorful temple which I think will be alive once night falls. Some more nice buildings here with those balconies which make Pondicherry unique. So I've just stopped here in a patisserie which is right on the seafront there, and look what I've got. I have an espresso and a coffee ice cream, but look at what they have on offer here. You can find macarons, eclairs, all different types of things, baguettes, quiche, then pain au chocolat, and even croissants. Away from the seafront, and I want to show you a typical Tamil South Indian temple here. This one is very lively, and I visited the other day, but I haven't shown it obviously on camera yet. And although we are in Pondicherry state, this is still a typical Tamil temple. So this here is the Vinayagar temple. It's dedicated to Ganesh. And what I mean by the typical South Indian style, which is kind of different from the north of India, is you have this colorful sequence of layers and sculptures, almost like a pyramid at the top of the temple here. And you'll find this all over the south. And it's very interesting and different. gold here, gold leaf probably.
Hope that was enough of a taste of it. There were lots of people sitting on the floor eating, incredible atmosphere. There is one other temple which I want to head to as well. I think it might be quite nice to show you a different temple too. Let me pick my shoes back up first.
Outside the temple here you have flowers and all sorts of different things related to Hinduism, wristbands and mini sculptures, sort of souvenirs relating to Ganesha and all kinds of things, offerings like coconuts too.
It's nice to check out both sides of town to get the idea of what Pondicherry is like, a full rounded one. Because if you only stay in the French Quarter, then you're not really experiencing the reality of what the majority of the city is actually like.
This guy here is giving offerings to people passing by on their bikes, which is pretty interesting. Or blessings. I'm not exactly an expert. You can let me know in the comments below.
Also, whenever you visit a temple in India, I recommend always passing a 50 rupee note or a 20 rupee note. Usually there's a guy outside the front taking donations, I guess you could call it. I always do it. It just puts a smile on their faces, and it's just a nice little touch to give something back and support the temple. So you'll probably be able to see this temple much better during the day, especially the colors, and with that pyramid almost style that I was mentioning in the previous one. Let's walk inside.
Seems like something's going on.
I'm being careful not to film in front of too many other people because I don't want to upset anybody.
Look at this. That is Hanuman there, the monkey god. And if you look up here, you can see many of the different deities.
If any of you have been to the north of India, you will know that this is just so different from the temples that you find there.
Thank you.
Good morning, welcome back. I am just having breakfast here at Colonial Heritage, and I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. I hope it gave you a taste of what Pondicherry is like. I'm taking a bus back to Chennai today, and then once I'm there I will film my Chennai video. So I will see you on the next one.